Hey, welcome back to another episode of Collector's Corner with Corey Smith. You know that's me. You know I'm Corey Smith. And again, welcome back to another episode. We are finally ready for number 8, episode 8 of the Collector's Corner. Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64. So yes, go back and watch episode 7 if you haven't already on NES. That was the previous installment of my video game collection. Now we're jumping on to N64. 64 time, baby. Who had a 64 out there, man? When that controller, first time I ever picked up a 64 controller, what the hell was I supposed to do? So many handles and buttons and joysticks and stuff. Man, I was still playing the old NES. I was still playing the square pad and the 2 buttons, the A-B button, man. So 64 was a big step up for me. A little learning curve to do, but I got into it, man. Me and my friends had a great time, too. So nice to be able to do the 4-player setup on some of these games. So, yeah, you can have your buddies over and then really get some crazy 64 stuff going. Let's get in to Nintendo 64. The cartridge, the last of the cartridges. Man, I grew up loving the cartridges. Oh, these cartridges were great. You could be so abusive with them, kick them, throw them. You could put them on the coffee table, throw them on the bookshelf. Didn't matter. They were ready to go at a moment's notice. On episode 8, Nintendo 64, first up was a birthday gift from my boy Jim over at Eat More Collectibles. I'll link him down below. Check out his page. Got a lot of stuff going on over there, but it's a nice gift from him. Cruising World. Oh, the cruising games, man. I used to play those in the arcade back in the day, and then when 64 picked them up, Cruising USA, and then here the sequel or the follow-up, Cruising World. Ooh, man, the driving on this thing was intense. You could get going fast. You could learn these courses and really just get in there everywhere. But look at this. This is the only game in my collection that has the full case still, or a modified case with the game manual in here. And there it is. Whoa, my God! I was not ready for that, folks. And I'm going to leave it in because you just want to see what's going on here in the Collector's Corner. Sometimes stuff falls. But that's what I was talking about, the cartridges, man. The cartridges could take a beating. They could take a licking and keep on ticking. Shit, you could literally lick these things and they would still play. But anyway, there's Cruising World. Look at that. You got the Sphinx and the Big Ben. All the Japanese, like, pagoda and all this, the mountains, whatnot. So yeah, this is the only one I still have the book for in my collection. Just like if you watched Nintendo, just like if you watched Atari, episodes previous. Back in the day, I wasn't really conscientious about saving the book or saving the manuals and all that good stuff. But because this was a recent gift, he hooked me up right. So Cruising World, driving game. I don't know what else to say. This one, you just got some sweet locale, some sweet graphics, sweet artwork, playability pretty good. Cruise and World. Now let's cruise on to the next one. What are we cruising on to now? We're cruising on to a first-person shooter. First-person shooter. Made by the same company that did 007. Oh, 007, you say? Dang, Goldeneye? Where's that at? Spoiler alert, it may be coming up here in a little while. We got Perfect Dark right here. First-person shooter, futuristic, aliens, all of that good stuff. You're playing a hot-ass, like, badass special forces sort of like super chick with the guns and the whole thing and the fighting skills and just craziness going on. And, just like Goldeneye, you gotta follow the path. You gotta follow the path. It's a set path you got to go down. Which is fine. It's not an open world. You just do your thing, walk around, shoot some stuff, solve some clues, do what you gotta do. On to the next level. But yeah, this thing was badass. Some of the guns in this thing were crazy. Big, crazy laser guns, infrared scopes you could see through walls, just all kinds of neat stuff. Same makers of Goldeneye. So very much the same feel, very much sort of the same graphics, just maybe a step up because obviously this came out a little bit after the fact. But really, you're talking about Goldeneye in the future with this, and that's cool because I love Goldeneye. Whoa, wait a minute, was that a spoiler alert? We'll see. Pretty good for a first-person shooter, and some of the ones on 64 they were kind of lacking, but Perfect Dark. Check it out. We're moving on. Moving on to the next one. Oh, we got the elbow drop coming in. Oh, it's WCW NWO Revenge. All right, disclaimer, backstory, side note, whatever you want to call it. I do or did love me some wrestling. And I will say I do still love wrestling. Not the modern product because it's garbage. But, classic wrestling. 80s, 90s, I'm all about watching the wrestling. And in the 90s, I was watching WCW's Monday Nitro. Didn't really care for the 90s WWE product, WWF product. I was a Nitro guy until they folded, until they went under. This is the second installment of a WCW NWO, who was the rival faction. They were the bad guys in the WCW. Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Razor Ramon and whoever else. They were the bad guys, but so they were fighting against the WCW clan. But anyway, that's enough of that backstory. Yeah, let's get on to the game. Dang. Oh man, I love wrestling games. All the way back to the original pro wrestling on NES with Starman. I have followed wrestling games or picked up wrestling games throughout all of my video game systems, my consoles. This one right here, the 64 put out a bunch of different wrestling games. This one I think is still the best. Man, some of the moves on this you could do, sweet off the top rope kind of stuff. All the fast. They had the little Mexican wrestlers on here too that did all the crazy spins and jumps and flips and all this stuff. And you had Goldberg, boom, dropping down. Rowdy Roddy Piper, always the entertainer. One of his specialty moves, boom, hit you right in the nads. Oh man, he'd get you every time with that thing. But this was great. You could do battle royals. You could do tag team wrestling. Like I said before, you could get 3 of your other friends on here and you could just go crazy. My buddies and I, we used to have a crazy time with this, just doing all sorts of wrestling moves on each other, most of them by accident, because we'd just be playing, all of a sudden mashing buttons. I don't know what I'm doing. Boom! All of a sudden it's got a spinning pile driver. Oh my God, where did that come from? This thing was fantastic. So yeah, wrestling games, love them. So we're moving on to the next one, to the fourth piece, to the fourth one. All right, let me go back. The last episode, NES, episode 7, NES. Picked my 5 top games. I had a hard time. I really wanted to include Gauntlet, but I did not. I had to pass it by. There were so many good games on NES. It was hard for me to narrow down to 5. Gauntlet would have been my number 6. It would have been my 6th man on the bench, my sub in. But since Gauntlet couldn't make the cut for NES, there was no way Gauntlet wasn't making the cut for 64, because dang, this was a step up from the original Gauntlet off of NES. Dang, this thing was crazy. You still got the top-down view, just like you need for a good Gauntlet game. You gotta be looking down on top of your characters, on top of the monsters, all of that stuff. You gotta be ready to hack and slash. So, Gauntlet, man, same thing all the way back to the arcade game. Same idea. You got up to 4 characters again, so you can get your buddies over. You got a giant barbarian dude swinging the broadsword. You got the dwarf with the little axe. You got the spellcaster, magician, wizard, and then you got the elf, shooting the arrows, the whole thing. You had your different character classes you could pick, and then it was just go crazy. I mean, you just ran and just slash and hack everything in your way and picking up food and gold keys, everything along the way. Same idea as they've always been, and that's what I love about Gauntlet. Don't try to fix what ain't broke. Gauntlet, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. That NES Gauntlet, old Gauntlet on the arcade back in the day. God, that thing was so fun. I was all about it, man. I want to hack and slash ogres and trolls and goblins and whatnot. I want to pick up keys and treasure and legs of lamb and whatever else you find laying around. Dang, this thing though, the graphics were a step up on this. You could really see a lot of detail they put into this. Oh, Gauntlet Legends, another continuing series game. Moved on into the OG or Xbox has got Gauntlet on it. because people can't get enough of this. I mean, how can you go wrong with just getting a sword and just stabbing people left and right? I'll stab you next, and then I'll chop you in half. So yeah, that's what you did with Gauntlet. You just went crazy, went bonkers until you found the end of the board, and then you disappear, and you pop up in another board, and then it's just more killing. So Gauntlet, fun. I mean, this thing, you could go for hours with this thing. It is crazy, especially if you've got some other good players with you. You could dominate those boards. Just keep going, moving through deeper and deeper into the dungeons and into the layers and whatnot until you finally fight the dragon at the end. Oh, here we go. We down to number 5 again. We've reached the end times. Oh, we are at number 5. Thank you again for checking out episode 8, the Nintendo 64. And like always, if you dig what you see, then hit that like, hit that subscribe button underneath, share it with your friends, up on the Reddit, up on the Facebook, wherever you got to go. Let's get it out there. Collector's Corner with Corey Smith, taking over the YouTubes. Let's do it. Let's show off collections. Comment below if you got some 64 games you think I should have included, or if you agree with them, or if you want me to just shut up. Whatever, man. But number 5, here it is. I've been talking about it. I've been playing it up. I've been teasing it. You knew it was coming. I mean, come on. This is the best 64 game ever made. Oh my God, 007, Goldeneye. If you don't know Goldeneye, then you don't know Nintendo 64. This thing could take over your life. I mean, it could consume you. Dang, there wasn't a ton of boards, but good God, there was so much to do, so many Russians to kill, so much shit to get. Just in the standalone story by itself, there was a ton of that stuff to do. But oh, forget about the multiplayer option on this. Running around different boards, sneaking up on people, shooting each other, rocket launchers, AK-47s, the whole deal. This thing could become your life. Now, I'll admit, I haven't played this in years. I haven't had this, I mean, the 64 is hooked up, but I haven't played 007 in forever. And I'll tell you why. Because I burnt myself out on this thing. It was so good. I played it, and then I played it some more, and then I played it some more after that. God, and you 007 GoldenEye fans, you know what I'm talking about, because you did the same thing. You knew every nook and cranny of every board. You knew exactly what brick to step on when you had to jump from a certain place or when you had to shoot from a certain angle. You knew it forwards, backwards, up, down, left, and right, because you were always trying to improve on your score. You were always trying to improve on your time. Whew, and then that came in handy when you had to do some multiplayer battles, because you'd go, God, I know these boards. Oh, there's a sweet spot up here. Let me go hide. And boom, 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 boom. I got you, sucker. So, 007, tell me what would be better than GoldenEye on 64, because I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. I'm going to scream it in your face. Oh, my God. So, here we are. We've come to another close. Episode 8 of Collector's Corner with Corey Smith is wrapping it up. Nintendo 64, the last days of the cartridge, coming and going right here, because next time we're going to be picking it up with the OG Xbox Original. We're moving into the world of the disc. We had Atari, we had NES, and we had 64. Goodbye cartridges. Hello discs. We'll see you next time here again on Collector's Corner. We're going to see you on the flip side.